Come join us as we dive deeper behind the scenes of security and cybercrime today, interviewing top leaders from around the world and sharing true cybercrime stories to raise awareness. But first, a huge thank you to all of our executive co-producers who subscribed to our Prime membership and fueled our growth. So please help us keep this going by subscribing for free to our YouTube channel and downloading our episodes on Apple or Spotify podcasts so we can continue to bring you more of what matters. This is Cybercrime Junkies, and now the show. Well, all right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Cybercrime Junkies. I am your host, David Morrow, and in the studio today are two gentlemen, not just one, two, from the Louisville, Kentucky area. First, my fantastic, always positive, extremely successful co-host, Mark Mosher. Mark, how are you, man?
I'm doing wonderful, David. This is an exciting episode, right? You've got two guys from Louisville on the same show. What? And
I
David,
know.
I appreciate you actually enunciated it correctly, like you had marbles in your mouth. Louisville, right?
Do you like that? I practice, man.
So tell the listeners who we've got in the studio with us today.
Really excited. So, there's crypto is always in the news. Cryptocurrency exchanges with a lot of the scandals, they've been in the news. And we have somebody who is driving a new cryptocurrency exchange the right way. It's very promising, and we want everybody to listen in and have an open mind on this. Tavi Gallego joins us from Louisville, Kentucky. He's the founder of a new approach to cryptocurrency and crypto exchanges. It's the Global Investment Crypto Exchange, based here in the U.S. Midwest. And it's also going to be international, and it's also going to be bilingual, right? And there's an innovative approach with altruism and giving, along with education at the forefront. So, Tavi, come join us. Come share your story with us, man. Welcome to the studio.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, David. Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to sit down with me.
Our pleasure.
Yeah. So I guess just a little bit about myself. I was in insurance for about 8 years. I had my own insurance agency. I sold it in February of last year.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that. My parents are Christians, and they raised me Christians as a Christian. And so that's kind of part of why I'm developing what I'm doing with the crypto exchange. Do you want me to just continue on?
No, I was just about to ask you. You started even without my question, so that was fantastic.
Sorry.
So, let's talk about kind of the elephant in the room, right? Like whenever somebody hears crypto exchanges, they either don't understand it, right? Which is probably the bulk of most people. Like they don't understand crypto. They hear about it. We've heard of Bitcoin and stuff, but then we see in the news some of these scandals like Sam Bankman-Fried. You hear issues with Binance, Coinbase, and so people, generally are getting a little skeptical. There's a glooming recession, right? In Christianity, you've got the Dave Ramsey movement and things like that. They clearly don't believe in crypto, but there is a void there, right? Because cryptocurrency really does have a lot of potential if it's done ethically. If it's done right, it can be very wonderful for people. It can be a great way of transacting business, making investments. Like if it's done right, it really can. So tell us about like what you sell your insurance agency, right? And it's it was built kind of like a local business, and there was a bilingual element to it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool, which is great. And then from there, and bilingual meaning like Spanish and English.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Correct. Okay. And then I just guessed that from the Gallegos. Plus, I did some research on it, so yeah, I knew the answer. But like, what drove you from that to going, we need a crypto exchange, like as opposed to like starting a different type of business? Like, what was it
What was the
about
catalyst
that?
for
Yeah.
that?
Absolutely. So, I had the insurance agency for 5 years. One of the things I tried to incorporate into the insurance business model was giving back, and I started to see kind of supernatural growth in the agency, and so
So
incorporating
you
that
started the model when you were still kind of in the insurance industry.
Okay.
correct.
Interesting. So explain to us like some examples.
So like I started to partner with different nonprofits and charities. One of my favorite is Food for the Hungry.
Ah,
They're a great organization. They feed and clothe people all around the world that need it.
yeah.
It's just a really good organization. And so from seeing the growth, being generous, and then seeing the growth from the agency, I was kind of done with insurance. I built a successful agency. I was ready to sell it, and so I wanted to. My next venture, I wanted to keep that generosity going. I wanted to keep that mindset, and I also wanted to promote that to other business owners and people. And so
The importance of giving, right? The importance of giving without any like quid pro quo, right? Like, I just want to give because it's the right thing to do, no strings attached.
no
And
strings.
then by doing that, not only does it like biologically, it actually makes you feel good, but you do help other people. And then what you're saying is there's also some unexplainable benefits that tend to happen financially for you by doing that on a regular basis.
Generosity. Some people call it karma, the universe. I see it as God, just
Mm-hmm.
blessing that generosity. And
Mhm.
so I'm laying in bed. My best ideas come 2, 3 in the morning. I'm laying in bed after I sold the project, and I'm like, I'd really like to start a cryptocurrency. Well, what about incorporating in an exchange? And then, well, what about incorporating giving to nonprofits and then offering free exposure to our nonprofits and allowing customers to invest? And so all these ideas churned up. But the reason I got into crypto was because I believe that blockchain technology is the future.
Yes.
And like you were saying at the beginning of the call, Mark, I'm sorry, David. Like you were saying, it's if it's done correctly, it's a very transparent, solid way to do business. Everything's on the ledger.
It's objective, right? It's objective. It's math. Like, you can't argue with it,
Can't
right?
argue
Like, when 2 + 2 equals, Mark, it's not 5.
I was going with 5.
But it like on the blockchain, so long as the transactions are recorded there, it's decentralized. Everybody can see it, and it's there. Like, you can't deny it. So that's what's really nice about it, right? And politics aside, right? Doesn't matter what country you're in. Doesn't matter, who you are, what you look like, what you believe in, whatever. Like, you buy X, you sell Y. It's objective, and there's some great global equality there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so because I believe in giving and giving back, and I see the benefits on both ends from the person that's giving and receiving, and then also like just where blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies are headed, I've kind of merged the two ideas together, and that's the kind of platform that I'm building.
That's really cool. So now let me ask you, because anybody that's listening that's got any experience, let's say they lost their shirt in Bitcoin or something, right? They invested in Quadriga and Jerry Cotton disappeared or something like that. Like, how are we going to explain to business owners, regular people, that this is different and that this is going to be transparent and reliable? Because you've explained it to me, but share that with the listeners.
Absolutely. Yeah. So when I first got into developing the app, I was asked several questions by the development team. And one of those questions was, Are you wanting to develop a custodial digital wallet or a non-custodial digital wallet? Are you wanting to operate as a centralized exchange or a decentralized exchange?
So explain to us what those terms mean.
Right.
Yeah, because what is a custodial digital wallet?
Okay, so a custodial digital wallet, some of the bigger known named apps operate as a custodial digital wallet, like for example, Coinbase, Crypto.com,
Binance or something like that.
but I'd have to
I don't
look
know. Maybe. Yeah, I was just naming names
Binance.
that I've heard. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So these larger apps that are operating as custodial digital wallets, what that means is that the admin, the app, actually holds your private key, holds your seed phrase, they hold your password, and things like that. So you have these huge exchanges that are operating essentially as a bank, but they're unregulated, uninsured banks.
Exactly. And no one, meaning when they're unregulated and they're uninsured and they hold the keys to actually what happens, right? One of the issues that can occur, I'm not implying at all that they do occur on those exchanges that we listed, but what can happen is you can get on the site or use the app and believe that you just bought 5 Bitcoin. You put in your actual money and you can get a report that says you have it, but it may not be on the blockchain that you actually own it. Right? Like there's still that error. That's what was happening with some of these.
Correct.
Right. But now that's with a custodial digital wallet. What's the difference between that and a non-custodial digital wallet?
A non-custodial digital wallet, and it's not as well known. Some of the non-custodial digital wallets that are out there, they're not as promoted as some of these other exchanges that are custodial.
Right.
A non-custodial digital wallet basically means that you hold your own funds. So if you download the GIE app, that's what we call it for short, Global Investment Crypto Exchange, the GIE app, it is a non-custodial digital wallet, which means we as the GIE admin do not have access to your private key, do not have access to your seed phrase, your password, or your funds. We do not have access to your funds. Custodial operations hold their customer funds, and that was one of the issues that happened with FTX.
Right.
And so as a non-custodial, now there is a downside to the non-custodial wallet, and that is you've got to protect your seed phrase, your private key, your password. You've got to, or you can lose your funds.
Right, because because you could be susceptible, as Mark and I have seen in cybercrime stories that we've looked at, SIM swapping, right, Mark, or some of these attacks where if somebody gets your private keys, then then they could liquidate your account. They could transfer those funds over to them. But that's just like anything, right? That's like having money in a bank and using, my dog 123 as your password, and then which most sure I just got them to change, and then
you know my password.
I know it's all over the net, and then being able to access your banking funds and liquidating them. So to me, there's not that much more risk, but there is a risk. Clearly.
There is a risk there. There is a risk there. And I don't know, you heard of people that have lost millions and millions of dollars in certain crypto because they lost their account information. Now, the difference is that with the custodial, you may be able to call one of the custodial support numbers and still gain access to your funds.
Right.
The downside to that custodial aspect is they can freeze your account, they can block your account, they can take your funds, they can do anything like that.
Because that's what we keep reading about. And listeners and viewers of this, whether it's live or whether it's later, please chime in, please reach out to us at info@cybercrimejunkies.com, or hit us up on our site and tell us your stories, as several of you do, and we appreciate that. But it's a lot of times we've heard that, when Bitcoin starts going down, or one of these cryptocurrency names start going down, they try to get their funds out and they can't. Right. And here in your scenario with a decentralized one, right, with a non-custodial digital wallet, they'll be able to because it's they have direct access to it.
There's no way that we can get involved in those transactions. The customer goes on, they purchase their crypto through a third party. We have a third party that helps the facilitation of the purchase of the crypto.
Mhm.
They can swap between crypto and then they can sell their crypto. But we, as the GI admin operating on that non-custodial platform, have no access to any of their funds or anything like that.
Right.
So it really truly is we call them members, GIE members. It really is the members' wallet and funds and things like that.
So then what is the business model like? I mean, because I always ask the obvious question, like, what is how do you guys make money then?
There's got to be something in it, right?
Like you are providing a service. I can go to your site and I can buy Bitcoin just like I can go to a different site. And if I feel safer, which frankly, just personal opinion, I would feel safer doing it through this exchange, right?
Right.
Then how are you? I mean, I would assume if a transaction, you've got to make some money.
You got to make money, of course.
Right.
So there are 4 points of revenue that's on the GIE app. The first point, we collect a small percentage when the customer goes from dollar to crypto when they buy the crypto.
Okay. Which is standard, right?
It's
always happens.
And the percentage is going to be a lot less than you're going to find on some of these larger custodial apps. We're just trying to make the operation work. Of course, we need money to live, but we're not out here trying to make $1 billion and buy Ferraris.
Yeah.
So the dollar to crypto.
But when you do, you will look back and say, "I was on Cybercrime Junkies podcast."
I got you, David.
This is the
what's going
launching
to catapult
pad,
you to the next level.
This is
if
what's
I ever
going to
hit
get
that
you to the
$1
next
million
level.
mark, I'll be reaching out to you.
That's right, buddy. We're going to watch you the whole way. That's for sure, though. Okay, so walk us through this.
So you got the first point.
Yeah. Dollar to crypto to crypto. There's
Okay.
a small percentage charge. Selling the crypto for dollar.
Yep.
Which is actually something that anybody that's really involved in crypto can appreciate on a non-custodial wallet. Typically, when you have a non-custodial wallet, you have to send your funds to a custodial wallet to cash out. You don't have to do that on our app. You're going to be able to do everything on our app and still operate non-custodial and decentralized.
Oh, that's very cool.
Okay.
And then there's a couple other forms of revenue. We're going to have a news section on our app, so we may charge some of the news platforms, to be on our app. And then there's also where the customers can donate directly to one of our nonprofit partners, and we charge a small percentage on that. The customer can donate in any crypto, and then on the back end in the what do they call it, the smart contract. On the smart contract, there's a conversion of that crypto to the USDT, which allows us some flexibility and time to convert that to the US dollar to then make the donation. So there's some work behind it. We're trying to charge as minimal as possible, but that's really the points of revenue for the app. We do not hold our customer funds like these huge operations.
Okay, so that is a really refreshing type of exchange. Like that to me sounds like that's why I was excited about having you on, because with all of the news, I mean, first, Mark and I are just inundated with dark web news of what's going on out there. So we're just trying to get our heads wrapped around this stuff so that we can advise clients, right? But then as we're reading the news, right, and we're hearing all of this about crypto exchanges and SIM swapping attacks and investors losing their money, and then the exchanges are being people can't get their money out. They're trying to do this. Got the guy up in Canada, Jerry Cotton, who dies at 30 or disappears.
Disappears.
We had Brett Johnson. Yeah, we had Brett Johnson on the show. If you haven't caught his episode, go check those out, because those are mind blowing. And he had actually worked with the head of that exchange on Shadow Crew on the dark web, changing IDs and stuff. So when we hear that, we're like, well, crypto's got a future. Blockchain has a future. So they've got to get out of this bad press. The first people that kind of rushed in, that got greedy, right? It's going to level off and it's going to become mainstream, because it's the one thing that I think can help underdeveloped countries as well as, hardworking Americans. I really believe it is really a sacred platform once it's done right. And
Once it's done right.
yeah.
Well, and I did want to mention two things. One, when you hear about people putting all their retirement into a token and losing it all, and like,
well, that's just poor investing.
That's just poor investing.
That's just poor investing. That would happen.
Bad choice.
That's been happening since the 1920s and even before. Like that's been going on where people are like, "Oh, I've got a penny stock. It's $1. It's going to go to $3. I'm throwing the house into it, right?" And then it goes down to like half of that amount, and you lose everything. You're like, "Okay, well,
so So there's that component to it, but there's also on our platform in particular, on the Global Investment Crypto Exchange, we're vetting all our tokens before they ever get onto our platform. So even though we're non-custodial and decentralized, some of these decentralized platforms have no vetting system.
Right. Yeah,
you or I could create a token, put it on there, make a website, and scam everybody. But that can't happen on our platform.
Got it. So I am sharing the screen right now. Now this site is it public yet or not yet?
It's online. We're doing a few more tweaks to it. Kind of minimal things. We're adding a blog and kind of news section, but it's pretty much finalized. It's online. If anybody wants to go check it out, feel free, but just keep in mind we're still doing a couple little tweaks to it.
Right. So first of all, I love the movement in there. I think it's really cool. And I love how this moves like that. It's visually very, very appealing. But what I love is you explain all of your model right up front. It's very, very clear, right? Mm-hmm. And here there's going to be a mobile app, which is great. And it's a decentralized exchange. And then I wanted to ask you about education. So right here is where you're going to build out a lot of education material, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is that going to entail?
So the educational, I've actually purchased a crypto library from a third party. It wasn't cheap by any means. It's everything A to Z, everything crypto, blockchain, terminology.
Acronyms, all the stuff that people are like, you want them to make educated investments, right?
YouTube links, the web link to the original white paper, videos. We've got GIE created content. We've got other content that we didn't create that is on the app as well. And we've also got a glossary in English, and everything in the app is in English and Spanish. We've got a glossary A to Z. And so the idea of that part came from my dad. He's 72 years old. He refuses to have a cell phone. So
I love it.
That's
great. He's still bummed. He's still bummed that they put buttons on the landlines, right? He still wants to dial.
Yeah. So my stepmom is his secretary, and I'm talking to my dad. I'm like, Dad, I'm into Bitcoin. I'm into this. He's like, what is that? What is this? What is that? And so that gave me the idea that there's a lot of people who don't know anything about crypto, and they need to be educated and have a place where they can go to be educated. And that's where we put that part in.
Sure. I mean, I would admit, look, every investment, there's risk in it. If you go buy a stock on the New York Stock Exchange or an option at the options exchange, there's a level of risk in everything. But the whole point is, before you do that, you should read the prospectus. You should understand the PE, like the earnings, the dividends that are involved, and just weigh your risk with the potential benefit. And with crypto, there really aren't a lot of places like that. So having that here, I think, is really that's revolutionary, Tavi. Yeah. Like that's really good. And then this page, are you guys able to see what I? Let me. You're able to see
nonprofit partners.
Yeah, so this is really cool. So these are all of the nonprofits that someone would be able to. It's an option, right? It's not required.
Of course, it's an option. Okay. You can get on and just invest and trade. But if you have a good month and you want to donate $20, $30, $40, whatever, you can also donate to one of our nonprofits.
That's fantastic. So walk us through some of these. So one is the Orphan Care Alliance.
Orphan Care Alliance.
Who are they?
They are a local to Kentucky and Southern Indiana. They're a nonprofit that help orphans in the area find homes and make sure that they're taken care of. It's a really cool nonprofit.
That's great. And then Food for the Hungry is global, isn't it?
They're international. Yeah,
Yes.
they're a big group. I really like them. I'm actually I actually sponsor with them. I'm associated with them on an individual basis. I really like the way they operate. They feed people, they clothe people all around the world. It's a pretty cool nonprofit.
Yeah, what I like about them, from what I've read anyway, my personal experience has been, with a lot of nonprofits or places that we could donate, right? Sometimes you just never know where the money goes, right? Does it go to a lot of admin, or does it just go to like the top people's
Right.
third vacation home or something? And
Right.
Food for the Hungry really, like, it gets the food to the hungry people. Like it executes on it. The mission happens, and I love that. So
all of our as well, all of our nonprofits are vetted as well.
that's great.
We want to keep, when 50 cents of every dollar goes to the CEO,
Right.
we're not trying to buy people mansions. We're trying to help the community.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because otherwise Cybercrime Junkies should become a nonprofit.
We will become
Right?
a nonprofit.
We will become a nonprofit. Like, we'll give 10 cents to somebody, but
Right.
90% goes to more video ads or something. So that's not our goal. It's not happening. Don't take us literally. Please read the legal disclaimer. Okay, so Life Water. What's Life Water?
Life Water, clean water around the world.
Fantastic.
I have heard of that one. I know people that have actually participated in Africa very heavily is a part of Life Water. So yeah, that's a heck of an outfit right there.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that too. I didn't think you drank water.
No, I don't actually myself, but I don't know. Is there water in beer?
Sorry, Tommy. There's a long history.
Bit of water in beer.
Yeah, that's great. And then Health and Harmony, is that a local?
So Health and Harmony is another international nonprofit. They are actually, one of the concerns with cryptocurrency is crypto mining and the energy expenditures and all that, and it creating bad fumes and things for the environment. Well, Health and Harmony, they focus on saving the rainforest, and the way they do it is they go to the rainforest people, the local people that live in the rainforest, and they help them get jobs and healthcare so that they don't have to do illegal logging. It's a really cool nonprofit that is trying to help save the planet.
That's great. And then Assist International, I take that's international, right?
Yeah. I think they build homes, buildings, and things like that.
Save lives, build resilient communities. It says they make a lasting, sustainable impact on the communities we serve, focus on children, education, global health, clean water. That's good. And then American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's our only national a nonprofit. And I wanted to have a variety of nonprofits on because people have different passions. I wanted to mention there is a way that the customer or the GI member can suggest other nonprofits for us to partner with.
Oh, that's a great idea too. Like maybe NAMI or along the lines of other mental health organizations.
Yes, any nonprofit they can suggest, and then we're going to review their financials. We're going to make sure everything's in order, and if they're a solid nonprofit, we're going to add them to the list of partners.
That's great. That's fantastic. And then you're very passionate about Prisoners Hope. So
yeah, the Prisoners Hope is the other local. So Orphan Care Alliance and the Prisoners Hope are our two local nonprofits. The Prisoners Hope was started by a gentleman who was in jail for, I think, 22 years for murder. And now he started this nonprofit that helps families of incarcerated people before, during, and after incarceration. And it's really cool. He also brings the gospel to the people that are incarcerated, which is that's just incredible to me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then Souls for Souls?
Souls for Souls is a clothing, but they specifically focus on used shoes, and they create jobs with it. So they don't only just clothe and shoe people, but they also create jobs, in those different communities that it can help.
Yeah, that's great. And there's a lot of those. There's like the jackets, like a lot of times for kids in school. There's several regional nonprofits focused on jackets and things, especially as the winter months come up. So that's phenomenal. So you touched on something earlier that I want to explore a little, and that's it's related to cybersecurity and cybercrime, and that's the Mark, how do you say it? It's really the crypto mining, right?
Yeah.
Because there are so many data breaches that happen that go undetected, right, by systems and tools and the vendors that sell you stuff as a business, right? That your systems aren't gonna do it, or are not going to be able to detect it. But what happens is they don't exfiltrate data. Exfiltrate, that fancy word for steal,
Steel.
right? They don't steal your data and they don't ransom you. They don't like encrypt your stuff. But what they do is they use your compute power
Yep.
so that you can mine for cryptocurrency, because a lot of systems and tools, they have cryptocurrency kind of buried into the root of them, right, Mark? Is that how that works?
No, that's exactly it. I actually, interesting story. Actually, my personal tablet that I use, my Surface,
Mhm.
about a year ago, got to move just horribly slow, and no matter what I was doing, it wasn't
It's
just
always
internet
a sign
connectivity.
of something, right? Like
Yeah,
whenever
yeah,
you
like
see a
Windows
system
would open
going
real
slow,
slow, spreadsheets would move real slow,
right,
and I finally had somebody looked at it, and I had a miner on there. Somebody was
right,
mining from my Surface. So yeah,
yeah.
it can happen, and then it can go undetected.
Yep, we were managing the IT and the cybersecurity for a very small regional healthcare organization, and all of a sudden, similar things started to happen. Their systems started to go slow, things like that. We had the security tools on, so we didn't see any threat actors moving laterally. Mark, like there was
Yeah.
no,
Nope.
it wasn't setting off real time detection. But then we did some forensics, and we found that like they were being used for the compute power to get to, like, they were like a distributor in the healthcare space to somebody else, somebody bigger. They were using their compute power to go there to mine their cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Yep.
It's crazy.
That
Like
is
who,
crazy.
like, that is just not something when we were all growing up that was the thing you had to worry about,
Right.
right? Like,
Yeah, that was not an international problem that existed.
no, on that Commodore computer, that was not something that we were like worried about. Somebody gonna mine the cryptocurrency off that thing. So that's absolutely amazing. So tell us what the stages of this and when the launch is going to be.
So I can't give a firm launch date yet. I was instructed very, very strongly not to give a launch date until I'm
Right.
for sure going to launch. But we
Yeah.
are looking here within the next, I would say, about 3 months that we're
Oh
going to
wow,
launch.
that's soon. Okay, great.
We're implementing one piece of technology that I don't want to give too much away, but it's an AI component that is I think it's gonna change the industry. I can't, like I said, I can't give too much information away on that, but it's what we're doing with incorporating the AI onto the app is innovative in the industry.
That's great.
So
Well, will it, not to pry, but will it help people maybe make either better investments
yes,
or at least see
Oh, this
what
is
market
interesting.
trends are and
Okay.
things?
All
yes,
right. We're gonna have you come back and give us an
I
update when
will.
We
you guys
absolutely
go
are,
I
live.
will.
Yeah.
because
Let us
because
know.
when this thing
Absolutely.
goes live, we're going to want to see it,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely will. Yeah,
So,
I wanted to just mention one other thing.
absolutely.
The mission statement for what we're trying to do. Um, we're really trying to change the global marketplace
Mhm.
by creating conscious consumers who only do business with companies that give back.
Yep.
So if you've got company A here, company B here, A gives back, B doesn't. I, as a consumer, should prefer to do business with company A. We want to
Mhm.
drive all businesses, your small mom and pop shops to your huge, large Amazon, Walmarts, all them. We want all of the businesses to give a small percentage of their profits to a charity or nonprofit, local or global, and that's what we're trying to do. That's the main goal. We're going to lead by example by donating a monthly percentage of our revenue, of our profits, to our nonprofit partners, but that's the overall goal. So
That's fantastic. So
Yeah, I
that's
like
called
that.
social responsibility.
Yeah.
So Mark and I actually, when we first started doing our podcast, we had a gentleman who had made a fortune, selling a business, running a business, and he designed a business model now of social responsibility, right? Because he wants to find organizations like when they choose a vendor, they research them and they want to work with other organizations that also give, because what his data showed. Mark, do you remember him?
Yeah. Yep.
And his name escapes me, so I'll have the
I'm
link to
racking
his
my brain thinking
episode.
now.
Yeah, I'll have his episode and a link in the show notes. But the key to that is that what the data showed is by doing business with people that believe what you believe, very Simon Sinek of him, right?
You're right.
They actually had better customer experience. They had more collaboration. They found more opportunities to work together. It's very simple. Like, it's playing nice in the sandbox that people who believe what you believe. There's a lot more collaboration, and two positive forces make a greater one. So,
Yeah.
Well, and then also, if the business, let's say I'm a mom and pop shop, I have a hardware store, and I just put a jar on my counter that says "Donate to Save the Whales."
right.
Well, now you're creating exposure for that nonprofit indirectly. We want the business to donate. We want the customers to donate and create exposure for this nonprofit for free. And so that's the kind of the idea behind that anybody can get into this program, and imagine the change that we could bring if every business gave a small percentage of their profit to a charity or organization
like that. Yeah.
No, I think that's fantastic, and I think that's a very valid mission. So, well, we want to see this thing go live, and we wish you the absolute best. We will definitely please come back and join us when it's live, okay? And we can even do a live demo. Mark can throw $100 in. We can watch
see what happens.
We can watch what happens.
Yeah,
we can
I
watch
love that idea.
We can watch it go down and laugh at him because he didn't. I guarantee he didn't watch the videos and do the education that he was supposed to. It's probably on his list of things to do.
It's on the to-do list.
It's on the to-do list. But no, Tommy, this is really great. We're really honored to have the opportunity to speak with you at this stage. So this is good stuff. So everybody check it out. We will have links to the website. It is live in terms of the website is up there, but you can't exchange, you can't buy currency yet.
Not just yet. You'll have to keep checking.
Yeah, but it's giecrypto.com. giecrypto.com.
And we'll have the link in the show notes.
Absolutely. So, Tavi, thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much, buddy.
It is great. Anything else? Yeah, anything else that you would like to before we end this? Like any other statements you want to make to the listeners?
Yeah, I know that the crypto community seems like it's a very selfish, like get rich quick.
Yeah, it's very Wall Street from the 80s kind of feel. At least that's what's in the news. That's what's in the news, right?
But if you can Google this. In 2021, 45% of crypto investors gave $1,000 or more to charities and nonprofits. So my crypto people that are already into crypto, we already have that giving mindset. Let's make some things happen with this.
I think you're right. Well, look, like the people that tend to be investing in crypto are not necessarily, just generally speaking, when you're talking about demographics, they're not boomers necessarily, right? So they tend to, and the younger generation, the Gen Z and the millennials, tend to invest for a cause. They tend to work for a place that has a cause behind it, right? There tends to always need that. And what better place than to invest in crypto with social responsibility? So this is good. I think this has got legs, man. I know it. I know it does.
This will be fun to watch.
Yeah, this will be very exciting to watch. So, and use ourselves. So
thank you guys so much. It really was a pleasure speaking with you all.
No, it's ours, and we're sorry that we have a cyber crime junkies element to the podcast, but it's really cybersecurity, helping people stay safe online.
I think it's
And
a cool
that's
name.
honestly exactly what you're about. Like
Yeah,
exactly.
you have an offering that when it pans out the way that it's been outlined is going to be a great way of a safe way of playing in the crypto space online. So you've got my vote and you'll have my
Yeah,
money.
absolutely.
So that's good, man.
Thank you.
Very
Dave.
good.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you guys. All right. We'll see you. Thanks everybody.
Tommy.
Be in touch
Appreciate it.
again.
Well, that wraps this up. Thanks for joining, everybody. Hope you got value out of digging deeper behind the scenes of security and cybercrime today. Please don't forget to help keep this going by subscribing free to our YouTube channel at Cybercrime Junkies Podcast, and download and enjoy all of our past episodes on Apple and Spotify podcasts so we can continue to bring you more of what matters. This is Cybercrime Junkies, and we thank you for joining us.